I really liked this because the way that it was presented was she would like dive down, deep into the water, straight down. And then she would allow herself to float up. And then as she was floating up, she would basically sort of like float up on her back from the bottom of the water and then like rise up out of the water. And the nice thing about that is it was a direct representation of that opening scene where she was created during the credit sequence.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah. And so what I liked about this is, the same way that, humans and animals both have this sort of innate behavior where they tend to recall certain behaviors from when we were like babies, essentially, right? Or toddlers, youth, etc., as like a means of comfort, right? Like with cats, they think that's why cats need, because it's like a comfort thing from when they were like young and used to need for milk and such like that. Mm-hmm. And so I felt like that was actually a really clever aspect to give this android. That's sort of like a means of comfort for her would be sort of like reenacting her creation in the depths of the ocean. Like I actually thought that was a really nice touch.
What about the boat ride?
What about it specifically?
Like, what was that saying to you in the film?
You're talking about where she's like talking to the other android on the boat?
I meant more where she's going through the boat and she sees herself like a replicant model through the window.
I see what you're talking about, yeah.
Suggesting anything?
So, yeah, I do. Yeah. So I actually really appreciated that as well, because I think that it's funny because I think this is actually one of the instances where the film is actually showing us and not telling us.
Okay.
And to me, I think what's going on is that the film is showing us that like she's an android. She's not a unique creation. They can just keep cranking out these androids. And I think that, in fact, that's what they have done. I don't think she's the only one of her kind. I think that her going through on that boat and seeing herself is basically her acknowledging to a certain degree that that's a duplicate, a double of her, because she ultimately knows she's an android. But it's also this thing where you get the sense that as androids, they don't necessarily like to acknowledge that they are robots, or like they want personhood. They want to think of themselves as individuals. They want to think of themselves as human. And so I think that, again, that's us showing her sort of wrestling with seeing and knowing logically that she's ultimately a robot, and yet feeling, to her core that she is unique and has personhood.